Good evening, investors. We're excited to have you join us for this special webinar featuring critical updates on the stock of the week. To bring you these updates, we have Dr. Mohit Batra with us. Also, be sure to stay until the very end for an engaging Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. A very good evening to all of you. As you remember, our journey to stock of the week is very new. We gave you the first stock of the week last week, and obviously what we've seen is very interesting stuff that has happened with that particular stock of the week. At the same time, we've got a lot of learnings. A lot of you have written a lot of questions to us in terms of queries, because I think the stock ran up almost 9 to 10% on day one itself. And today we are going to address all those queries. As I said, the tire has hit the road, and when the tire hits the road, obviously the first set of friction tells us where we can improve our systems and processes. I'm not talking about where we can improve our stock calls, because obviously the result of that is very clearly visible to all of you. There are some very key learnings that we've achieved, and I will also take up multitude of questions that you may have that we've already picked up, because a lot of questions have come to the customer support desk as well, to address those first, and then we will have an open Q&A session, because I think it's very critical to understand when to enter, at what level to enter, at what level to exit, when does the stock call change. All of those things are very, very important for you to understand. So stay a little patient. I will try and cover up the proceedings as soon as I can, but then towards the end we'll have the real set of Q&A, because now you have the experience of looking at the stock of the week as well, not just we giving it out, but I think the real life experience of whether you were able to buy it, what price you bought it, all of those things matter here for us to keep improving our systems. With that note, let me start the proceedings with the disclaimer. We emphasize that all investors should use this information on the webinar merely as a source to enhance their own research and understanding. Nothing discussed in this webinar should be considered investment advice. We strongly advise all participants to check with certified experts before taking any investment decision. Investment in securities is subject to market risk. Past performance should not be construed as a guarantee for future returns. And investment in equity and equity-related securities involve a high degree of risk, and users should not invest unless they can afford to take the risk on their investments. One of the interesting things that has come up is, despite the market volatility that we've seen a big drop in the market on one day, and we've seen a lot of volatility in the last week per se. But despite the market volatility, I think we are off to a great start as far as the stock of the week is concerned. You know the numbers. I know that you are all checking the section out as well. I'm going to cover up and tell you what has happened and how we have also analyzed that particular data to try and figure out that what is the extent of the call and towards the target price, and what is the extent of the misuse of the call. Very important, because I think I'm very clear that misuse of the calls will not be accepted in the MarketsMojo environment. I will keep tightening the plug as we go forward to make sure that only our authentic MarketsMojo retail individual users are applying to this call, and not people who typically disseminate this call on a wider channel. So we gave our first stock of the week call on August 1 and a sneak peek on 30th of July. As you know that we've given so far two calls. The first call, stock of the week, was given on 1st of August, and we had given a sneak peek to all the investors on 30th of July. I'm going to cover both the stocks. So week one was stock of the week on August 1st, 2024. Our call was on IFB Industries, as you know. Now, brief company profile, as you've already seen, which I had presented pre-market on IFB, is the market cap is 8,572 odd crores. It's a mid-cap company. Industry was consumer durables. Date of recommendation 1st of August 2024. Entry price at which we had recommended the call was 1,775 and the target price was 24% up with a holding duration of 4 months. This is what was launched on August 1. Investor profile was high risk and high reward. We had clearly mentioned that this is for high risk and high reward investors. So only those investors who construe themselves in this particular risk profile should be applying for this particular call. Now, the interesting thing is IFP is already up by 20% in the last 10 days. And, 10 days, obviously, you can talk about it as last 7 to 8 days of trading days. August 1, the entry price was 1,775, which was the price at which we recommended. Current market price, day end closure of today, is 2,115. Target price is 2,200. We have already bagged in 20% on this particular call and the remaining potential is 4%. We are still holding this call and we will get back to you once the target price is hit. But our take on this was 4 months, and I think in typically 8 days, we are already 20% up. But let us look at something that concerns me, although this is good news that investors have seen this upside of 20% in just about 8 trading days. But what concerns me is this slide. The volume and the price movement post our call. If you look at this, the day we announced this call, which was on August 1, 2024, the stock moved 9.6%. But if you see on the absolute right column, the volume was a huge volume. 5,02,828 stocks traded. And there was a settling effect on the next day, which was 2nd of August. The stock was still in positive, which was 30 basis point up. And the volume settled to a normal volume of 2,27,000. Interestingly, there is obviously some movement in the stock because if you see on 7th of August, again the volume shot up by 5,85,000 and the stock was up by 7% on 7th of August 2024. So there has been a movement of volume in this particular stock, and we'll see the movement in volume in the other stock as well. But there has been a disproportionate movement of volume the day we advised our clients to enter the stock. Now, the one interesting thing that has happened is that despite the markets being choppy during this particular period and not going anywhere, I mean, overall, if you see during these 1 week period, the markets actually is down overall. Because of the 3% down impact on August 5th, the stock has still delivered a 20% return. So the 5-day average volume before we announced was 1,59,000, which went up to almost 5 lakhs. So there has been typically a 3.5 to 3.7 times the volume that got traded on the day we announced this particular call, which obviously settled back. And we are, currently within that range of the volume that was during previously to when we announced, which is typically around 1,60,000 shares. The sneak preview. Let's look at the second stock, or rather the first stock, Zero as we call it. We had announced this prior to starting the August 1 stock of the week proposition, GPT Healthcare. Now, if you look at GPT Healthcare, I'm not going into the details of that company, which I think you've seen in my presentation already. It's a small cap with 1,501 crore of market cap. Industry is healthcare. Date of recommendation was 30th of July. Entry price was 1,777. Target price 234. Investor profile was high risk, high return. What happened to this stock? That this stock is up by 4%, but up by 4% when the market is down. We still have the upside potential of 32% on this particular stock. So our guesstimate as target price on this has been 32% up at a target price of 234. And we are currently at a current market price of 183. So moving along, cruising along decently. Now, if you look at the volume here, the volume on 31st of July, the day we launched the stock, the change was 7.6% up versus index at 0.4% up, 24 lakh 20,000 stocks. But having said that, next day there was 75 lakh stocks that were trading, and then the volume subsequently dropped. But there has been no drastic impact. There was a lot of profit booking, I think, on the stock, because when the markets were down 3%, the stock was down 4% with a higher volume of approximately 4,83,000 shares. The 5-day average volume before we announced was 1,94,000. So there was, on a 2 lakh, there was almost a 10 to 11 times increase in volume on day one. But this, despite being a small cap, the volume was contained on day 2 onwards, and actually the volume was lower than the 5-day average volume, and then it's typically been in the range or right about a little bit heated up, out there. Now, interestingly, what we are seeing here is there is a disproportionate volume increase on the day that we launch, and this is something that I had feared that this can be the impact. But the impact of this, when we've done a very deep dive on what is happening out there, we've got some bit of analysis that we've done. Our biggest learning with these two stock of the weeks is that in the first webinar on August 1, 58% of the viewers were not MarketsMojo users. The paid subscribers of stock of the week were only 42, others were 58%. So there is obviously a huge amount of misuse, not just in the extent of 10-15% people coming, but more than the paid advisors were paid clients were the clients who came in who were unpaid clients. Now, how did this happen? This happened because the YouTube link, video link that was shared, obviously this was shared only with the paid guys, but it looks like people have taken this particular link, the Go Live link, and they have shared on various mediums like WhatsApp and Telegram and others. This is a big issue, and I must tell you that we are going to take these kind of issues very, very seriously. I do not care. You've given me 9,900. I do not care if you are impacting my customers in a way, in a disproportionate way, like the way that this is going to get impacted. The day we come to know who are these particular set of clients, till the time we have a technology fix onto this, once we come to know, your relationship with us is over with a full refund. We do not want such customers who are actually not customers, but they are running their own businesses and spreading these calls out wide in the open on channels like WhatsApp and Telegram. Please understand you're dealing with a tech firm. Please understand you're dealing with a data firm. Please understand that we understand data better than you guys do. And please understand there is a limit to which we will take this and accept this, and we will not accept any such information leak into the system of MarketsMojo, which disbenefits any of our existing investors. As an impact of this, what we're doing now is that we won't be doing any stock of the week webinars on YouTube anymore. Starting Monday, where I'm coming in the morning to present the next stock of the week, these webinars will not be done on any YouTube channel. Even if it is locked internally, it will not be done on any YouTube channel. We will be hosting it on the website app directly. It will be a video that will be hosted, and you cannot unplug that particular video. It will be hosted within the app after the OTP and login. And if you distribute your user ID and password or OTP to somebody else, you will be logged out. Only one person will be able to log in. The subscriber will be able to log in. Nobody else would be able to log in into the app to see the webinar, to see the call. And no YouTube webinars will happen on stock of the week. As I said, it will be done internally to the stock of the week page. You have to give in your OTP out there. Enter inside, you will see the video inside, you will be able to see the webinar inside, And if you distribute that OTP to anybody else, because every time another person gets it, he has to again apply for an OTP. The OTP will make sure that you are logged out. Only 1%, one person per login will be allowed to enter into this webinar. What we've also done as a caution, because some of you guys wrote that I think we should also be checking if there's an internal leak within MarketsMojo, is that nobody knows the stock that we are going to launch on Monday till Saturday. Initially, we would start making our presentations on Friday itself during the day, or maybe sometimes Thursday evening, because we are ready with the stock. We are ready with the stock, but apart from the IC and more so apart from me, nobody would know what the stock of the week is till Saturday comes, so that there is no market movement to this particular stock from internal staff. One thing that I must point out, and I must congratulate one investor, and I'm so sorry, sir, I don't recall your name, but you had written to me with a suggestion, and I think it's one of the best suggestions that I've got in a long time. He said, and if you give me your name once I say the question, I would like to call out and thank you personally. But he said that why don't you make sure that you declare the stock of the week somewhere at around 9:07 or 9:10 a.m. in the morning, so that we also get it at the same time that people who are trying to distribute this, because they will take some time by the time we would have taken our positions. So I have decided that I'm going to not do this as pre-market, but I will start the webinar pre-market, but we will declare it during the market time, which is 9:07 or 9:10, typically once the market opens, so that you have an added advantage of immediately going and putting that particular trade, so that you're much ahead of people who are trying to distribute this, and then people are trying to do that particular trade. So 2 security measures further enhanced, as I said. One is that 3 security measures that we've enhanced this particular week itself. One is that no YouTube live. This will be behind OTP. One client with one OTP. You distribute the OTP, you are logged out. So there's only one client per registration that you've got. Number 2, that the internal staff will not be exposed to the stock of the week till Saturday, because Saturday is when we start making the case study. So we will work on Saturdays for you to make sure that we would have not disclosed the stock internally till Saturday comes, so that there is no internal movement of the staff. And the third point is that we will delay, and we will maybe start at around 8:50 or something and go and announce it towards the market opening rather than pre-market, so that our clients can be at equal speed and they don't have a lag time to put in their orders. And we will keep watching this over a period of time to try and see what other factors that we need to put in place. There are multiple ways of finding out multiple logins that clients are doing, and I request you to do not think that we are technologically dumb. Don't think that we don't observe. Once we catch these incidences, we will be taking extremely strict actions, because this is in violation of the investor rights that we have for people who are paid investors and they are retail investors and they look at opportunities on fundamental buying. What you also know that a lot of people are asking still, we have a lot of people who are currently asking us that why have you stopped? Because we have stopped all new subscriptions on stock of the week. Unless we get a grip on the volume situation, we have stocked all of the stock of the week's fresh subscriptions. Nobody can subscribe from the site. Nobody can subscribe from this webinars. We have stopped all of these subscriptions till the time we can get to a grip to it. We do not want to worsen the situation. Having said that, what we have done is that we have come out, we will open stock of the week subscriptions only after observing market volatility, and this can happen on Monday or may not happen on Monday, but we will be opening limited spots as we will see the vintage of the investors who've been with us. And if we feel that we can open limited number of stops, we may open a limited number of stocks. What we are doing, if you still want to guarantee your stock of the week subscription, there are two options we are giving you. Option number one, to secure guaranteed spot, we are completely, making it not so attractive. We have increased the price to 19,999 for 2 years. This will guarantee you a wait list, but the expected timelines can be anywhere between 7 days to 30 days. So you can opt for this option on the box below the webinar box. You can opt for option one if you want a guaranteed spot for stock of the week. And I said that this timeline can shift basis once we resolve this particular problem. Option number two, if you want to be a part of the general wait list, the product is available for 19,999 for 2 years. That doesn't guarantee any spot. And this expected timeline for opening up this particular wait list can be anywhere between 2 to 4 months. So you still have those options. I know a lot of you have written to us. I think thousands of you have written to us that you were traveling or you missed the webinars, you missed that 1 week, you were busy. For all of you, you have two options to be a part of a guaranteed waitlist at 19,999 for 2 years, where you can be onboarded in up to a month's time. Or option two is that you can join the waitlist, a general waitlist at 14,999 for 2 years without any guaranteed spot. And obviously these two waitlists also will be closing soon. I do not have any offer for you. I do not have any answer for you today, but you are most welcome to join the guaranteed waitlist at 19,999, or you can join the general waitlist at 14,999. Both are for 2 years. Both option one and option two are available. Please select those and put in your request, and we will keep evaluating when we need to close this waitlist as well. Now, list of things that you've been asking us, and I think that some of the things I have captured here, and I'm going to reiterate those things, that what to do and what not to do with stock of the week, because as genuine investors, we need to see and be very rational when we are looking at buying or not buying a stock of the week, because if there is an adverse price movement, if there can be a price movement in a mid-cap stock that we choose of 9-8%, then anything can happen, and we need to all be very careful in terms of our buying strategies out there and let the stock typically cool down. My personal belief is that most of the technology issues and most of these issues we are addressing as we go, and we learned so much in the last 1 week that we've actively addressed these points. And I think every week when the stock of the week comes out, it may take us 2-3 weeks, but I'll tell you, the party for free people is not going to go on. The party for people who are distributing calls is not going to go on. It is a genuine investor panel that we have here, and we will keep it like that, come what may. But let's go on to some of the questions that you're asking us today. Question number one. What should be my strategy to buy stock of the week? Should I buy in pre-opening or wait for the market to open and then place the order? Now, this is a very, very important thing. See, normally, if I were to, and we went around and we asked a lot of investors, we asked a lot of people that what is your buying strategy? When you go and you have to buy a stock, what is your buying strategy? So most of the guys, I would say over 90% of the guys typically said that हम लोग limit order डालते ही नहीं है. We just go and put a market order and we sit, because you're in the hurry of buying a stock. So you don't put a limit order, you straight away put a market order. So what we are suggesting you, it's simple, a simple click of choosing a limit order, right? So you should wait for the markets to open. Do not put a on market order. Do not put a market order straight. Wait for the markets to open. We should look at buying stock of the week within the 3%, approximately the 3% price movement from the last closing. So I would strongly suggest for you to put a limit order of say 3% and observe whether you get that stock or not, rather than putting a market order. Market order in this kind of a situation, see, we are coming halfway, you got to come halfway. So I think market order is just a sign of desperation that we have out there, because अगले दिन stock correct भी हो सकता है. So market order, is not something that we should be doing. Limit order is what is the best strategy to do. Put a limit order of 3%, put a limit order of 4%, 2%, whatever we may want out there. But I think a limit order is the way to go if you have to hedge yourself against any kind of a major price movement on day one. Second question, stock has opened at a high price. Should I buy now? See, as mentioned, if the stock is within the 3% range, I think it is safe to buy. Else, recommended action is to place a limit order at a price lower than the current market level and then wait for some time. So the stock also moves up and down, right? So stock is up, say 7% when it opens up. You know that the 3% limit order is not going to get hit. You can go and put it at 4% or 5%. But I think day one buying is a tricky thing, right? If you're trying to buy it on day one, it is a tricky thing, and we have to be very smart in what we are doing. First, we are not putting a market order. We are letting the market open. Then we are putting a limit order of 3%. And then even if the stock opens up, gap up of say 7-8%, we are still increasing our limit order a little bit, but not because, the stock during the day may fluctuate and may get you and hit the limit order, and you may get the stock even with a little higher limit level as well. So patience is key. Do not try and herd up on the stock and get into the stock. Let the froth go out, and then decide very carefully what is the kind of limit that we need to put. And that limit is a very simple factor of what is the overall target price. If my target price is 30% and if I'm getting 3% expensive, I'm still okay, right? If my target price is 30%, I'm getting 10%, then also there is an upside potential, but then there is a decision-making process that we need to do, whether we need to buy that day or maybe wait for the next day if the stock corrects. Ideally speaking, both options are fine, but I would typically wait for the next day to try and see if there is a cool off. Because if you see here, let's go and see this again. Yeah. Now, if I were to buy GPT Healthcare on day one versus if I were to buy on 5th of August, there is a major correction that came. Let's assume that that's because that day markets also fell 3%. But even if the markets were flat, the stock is not terribly, apart from the day one, has not hit that big, right? So if I had bought this stock at 7.6, if I had been patient, I could have bought this stock typically at a 2% or a 3% increase. Right, so it is very careful because the stock is maybe up 4% today, but let's assume that you had bought it at 7% up, then you would be saying that, oh, I already bought it at 7% up, now I'm typically in a loss of 3%. So patience is key. Let's look at IFB for that matter. If you see IFB, that also corrected in between. But even if it doesn't correct, the next day movement was just 0.30. So you will get, this is a stock that has typically only gone up since the time apart from one day when we recommended, but the normal stock will not look like this. The normal stock will look more like this, that it'll give you opportunity even if you don't buy it on day one to buy it on day two or day three. We are launching this, give me the screen please. Please understand that these are fundamental calls. These are not technical calls. Agar aap technical calls le rahe hain, then to run on the first day, and I can understand. But if we are taking fundamental calls and if we are taking 3-month, 4-month target prices out there, then we have time. We don't have to actually trade on day one also. We don't have to actually line up and queue up. You put a limit order, you don't get your limit order, you wait. Worst come worst, what can happen? What is the worst thing, or what is a better thing than to make a loss in a stock? Is actually not to buy the stock. So if there is a chance where you see that there is an adverse market situation and I'm still trying to get in, why are you trying to get in so desperately? Because there is, as I told you, 52 stocks are coming out, right? So if there is an adverse situation where we miss a call, it is not a problem. If you personally feel that you cannot stomach a 10%, 12% increase and then after that, take that particular call, it is absolutely fine. Let's go to the next question. Sorry. Can we look at higher market cap only? Some of you guys have asked, can we look at higher market cap only for recommending stock of the week to avoid such gap up opening? We are not sure if market role, has too much of a role. It has a role to play, but I think what is more relevant out here is that how much is the liquidity that is coming in. And I think once we soften all the aspects that we are looking at of not having investors who are distributing these particular calls, trust us, we do a lot of volume analysis before we give out a call. Now, even if you look at this, IFB for that matter is not a small stock. It is a market cap of 7,000 crores. It is a mid-cap stock, and still we could see that gap up opening out there. But having said that, we will monitor this closely to make sure that we are not going into way smaller stocks. We are going into good quality stocks, even if they are small caps. They are higher set of small caps, mid caps or large caps, but I am not guaranteeing that we will only look at mid and small caps just because we have got a gap up opening problem. I think we need to address that problem slowly and separately, which we have already started doing very aggressively. And I think a role, if you can play in that part to not put a market order, will ease that problem a lot. So I need your support to understand that you need to start putting in limit orders rather than piling up market orders before the market opens. Next question, should I buy 100% of total quantity I wish to buy even if the stock has opened gap down? Absolutely yes, nothing better than that. If the stock opens gap down, which is a great news, because again it's a fundamental call, and if you want to allocate say 50,000 rupees, should you buy the whole 50,000 rupees? Absolutely yes. Please do not think that the next day the stock will again come down and I will average, आज 25,000 का लेता हूँ, कल 25,000 का लेता हूँ. हो सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है. But the principle is not even look at where, not apply your mind, at least in a comfortable situation that, the stock is open gap down. And can I buy 100%? Absolutely buy. Remember in your head always, this is a fundamental call. So you are not trying to time the market out here. This is a fundamental call. I miss buying on Monday. Can I buy on a later date even if the stock is 10% up? Absolutely you can buy, sir. The target price difference is what matters. Now let's take an example out here, is that let's assume we have a stock ABC with a current price of 100 rupees. We have chosen this stock as stock of the week with a target price of 130 rupees. Let's assume you did not buy for whatever reasons on Monday and the stock is up 10%. You do not go on the stock up on day one, right? Because that can be gap up opening, but within 1 or 2 days, it will show you exactly where it is lying out there once the frenzy or the fancy of that stock gets over typically. Even if it is staying at 10% up, you still have a 67% to the target price potential. So whether you should buy or not, the answer is yes, because if it is at 110, you are expecting 130, it is a 20% return. If you see 20% target price upside potential in 3 months time, 4 months time, it is annualized 80%. Why will you not buy? So we have to be a little less myopic on this and say that अभी मेरे को पूरा 30% target का चाहिए, या अगर मेरे को 25% भी मिलता है उसमें से 20% उसमें से मिलता है, I think that is still a good call rather than not entering that call. As I said, don't take that call on day one. Day one, if the gap up happens at a 10% or something, wait for a day, no issues. Wait for 2 days. You will see the stock may be correcting. नहीं तो वो second day भी 10% तो ऊपर नहीं होने वाला है. Unless there is something, surprisingly good happening with that particular stock. But most of the examples that I've given you, that has not been the case. IFB also opened next day, it was only 0.3%. You know that, okay, it is kind of remaining out there. See it versus the market. The third day it was down 3%. Good opportunity to buy. I will buy that day. But do not say that 30 ka 30 mujhe milna chahiye, 27 mile, 24 mile because of buying problems in the market. It is still fine. It is still fine. It is very, very decent return because your average, holding periods currently, the two stocks that we have done is 3-4 months. And, it's a very good move if you can get that in 3-4 months as well. I have a request to subscribe, but I am still unable to get the subscription. I know that a lot of you people are subscribing or trying to subscribe. I have taken this question before, that we are not opening stock of the week subscription unless we resolve this issue of volatility. We are giving our investors 2 options. You can be a part of a wait list Waitlist option 1 is where we'll give you a guaranteed spot. As soon as we open, you will be enrolled into the stock of the week. That is available for 19,999 for 2 years. And a general waitlist is available for 14,999 for 2 years without a guarantee. We may or may not open this particular waitlist ever, depending on whether we can attack or manage this problem. But option 1 for serious investors, 19,999 is open for a guaranteed waitlist, and expected timelines where we'll onboard you is 7 to 30 days, and that is a 2-year pricing. Please get that 19,999 is a 2-year pricing. 14,999 is again a 2-year pricing, but you don't get a guaranteed spot. We may open it after 2 months, 4 months. We may not open as well. So these are 2 options. Both the options are mentioned out there. Once the wait list is also over, then both these options will also go away, because then we will finally not offer it. A lot of you customers have missed it. We've got thousands of mails. So that's the reason we are giving you this particular option. When will the target price get revised? Can a stock have multiple revisions in target price? I know your question is more pertinent, and I know the first question that will come to me once I open the Q&A will be on IFB at 20% and target at 24%. Yes, the target price can be revised. No, the target price may not get revised. We will only declare that once the target price is hit. There are 2 situations that can happen. If I declare to earlier and closer to the target price, investors are not going to wait for the target price. They will start dumping the stock next day. We do not want that situation. If I up the target price, investors are not going to listen. They will start buying again. So the answer to this is very clearly that we will only disclose target hit, target either extended or exit from that stock once the target is hit, not before that. Can you add stop loss while declaring the stock of the week? We had mentioned that we are not providing any stop losses in stock of the week calls. However, if we feel that we need to book losses somewhere, we'll anyways come back to you. So if we feel that internally there is a stop loss mechanism that we are following, that if there's anything untowards happens on a particular stock, market environment changes, our hypothesis changes, we will come back and give you a stop loss, but that will be if there is anything that changes out there. It will not be a blind fall of stock of 5%, 10% and we get out. Again, the reason is that it's a fundamental call. Unless the hypothesis change, there's always a chance for the stock to come back again. But if you have a certain risk profile and you personally feel you're not willing to take risk of maybe 10% drawdown or 15% drawdown, that is a call which is in your hands. Our call, hypothesis change, will only happen if we personally feel that there's something drastically changing in this particular company and we need to book losses and move out. We are very, very clear on that. So we will not be providing any stop loss call to you as a generic call, because if the hypothesis changes, we will anyways give you a stop loss. If markets are going down, should I book profits or loss in my stock of the week and wait for markets to consolidate and start its upward journey so that I can re-enter? This question is a very interesting question because you guys are trying to time the market. We will not recommend you to do that. We will be anyways tracking these calls. We will be informing you when to book profits or losses for that matter for all stock of the week stock recommendations. Try not to take manual timing calls onto the market. It has mostly not worked in over, I would say 90-95% of the investors. Mostly it has not worked on a generically large scale basis. You may go right in one call, but if you keep doing that on a larger basis, you will feel very soon that you are not capable of doing that, because most of the seasoned investors are also not capable of taking that call. So timing call should be avoided at all reasons. I did not buy stock of the week since it opened gap up. Now markets are down and stock price of stock of the week has also come down. Should I enter now or should I wait for markets to stabilize? Our recommendation is, if the stock had moved up and then come down and you've missed it, you obviously should buy it. Because again, difference in between the target price and the stock's current price is something which should be viable. I would not recommend you to buy IFB today, which is already 20% up and the target price is at 24%. Doesn't make sense because currently the gap is only 4% more from its current market price. But if it was at 110, it was at 10% up, I would have still recommended that you could still buy. But closer to target price, I don't think so. You should buy. If the stock is closer to maybe 10-15% of the target price, I think you should avoid. If it is more than 50-60% away from the target price, it makes sense to buy. Very simple. Right. I am finished with my set of questions. Now I'm opening the floor for your questions, and if there's anything that I can take up to address anything which is over and above these questions that I've already discussed.
So the first question comes from Lata Sundar. Can you please explain the limit order concept and the 3% thing that you spoke about?
Okay. The limit order, madam, is that when you go and are placing an order, or if you are either placing the order through a system or you're placing the order through a broker. So if you're placing the order through a broker who is a dealer, you pick up the phone, you speak and you say that I want a limit order of 3% up, which means that he will say that if the stock is say 100, he will only buy till if the stock hits 103 in that particular range. Market order is whenever the stock opens. So if the stock opens at 107, you will get the order. Limit order is that if you put a limit order of 3% and the stock opens at 107, you will not get that order. But during the day, if the stock comes from 107 to 103, you will get that particular order because you've defined that इससे ज़्यादा मैं नहीं लूँगी. इस price से ऊपर I am not buying. That is the limit order that you're putting. If you're following your online system, which is, Zerodha or whatever it is, there's clearly when you select the name of the company, the next will be quantity and the third and then will be an exchange. And then after that, it will be market order or limit order. There will be a drop down which will say market order or limit order. Default option is market order. You choose limit order and put 3% up. Just calculate the last and say 3% up and you put the limit order ka price out there so that you are not buying above that particular price. So that's the concept of a limit order. 3% is decent for any kind of a decent market movement. 4% is also fine, but I think over and above that, you should try and let the stock settle down a little bit. That is our recommendation out here.
The next question comes from Ashok Bhatla. When is the Diwali portfolio will be monitored?
Sir, Diwali portfolio we have been monitoring once a month. I think we should do it soon. There is no specific date that we have kept for that right now, but I don't think so there's any changes to that we are recommending right now.
The next question comes from Mr. Jigar. Good evening, Mohit ji. Are we shifting our focus from investing and technical and fundamental analysis to highlighting a stock of the week? I'm still considering whether to make a purchase and would appreciate your guidance in understanding my current situation.
No, sir, we are actually trying to ease out the situation for you. We are trying to, there's a selection disadvantage that our customers have. Today in Mojo One, there are around 140, 150 stocks and you keep asking us which is that one stock that I can buy. So this particular channel of stock of the week is for investors who cannot select that one stock out of the whole set of so many stocks out there. And hence we started this particular proposition. It is not weakening anything. We were taking fundamental calls 10 years back, 5 years back we were taking fundamental calls, even 1 month back we were taking fundamental calls, and in stock of the week also we are taking fundamental calls. But we are just making the choice easier for investors who feel that, listen, you have everything, but I'm still confused which stock to buy. So that is the call that we are taking out here.
The next question comes from Gautam. I guess most of us could not buy the stock of the week at their entry price. Someone is buying in bulk and shooting up the price. Is your stock of the week second-hand information from some other agency? And will this trend still continue in the future?
No, sir. Our stock is. उससे पहले एक दिन देख लीजिए ना आप. you should see the impact of the price a day before we gave the call. So I don't think so. We are taking the call from somebody. I think somebody else is taking the call from us. Our concern is that I think if you look at the stock price before that, it is not the way that it has gone up. When we have given a call, the problem is not that we are taking somebody's call. The problem is a lot of people are taking our calls. That is the issue that we are trying to resolve, Gautamji. So it is the other way around, in fact. And we've seen this trend for some years now. We've tightened up things. We were launching, like for example, stocks Friday evening, so people have time to distribute these things. We cut it down. We said pre-market. Even if we give 10-15 minutes, we see that impact. So we are now going into just opening of the market. When we do it on our private channel of YouTube, people copy the links and set it up and spread it out. Now we are doing webinars which are inbuilt into the app itself. So we are doing everything possible, and I am sure that we'll be able to capture this problem very easily.
The next question comes from Mr. Reddy. Good evening, Mohit ji. Kindly advise us on rupees 12 lakhs amount, how to allocate to buy each stock of the month for 52 stocks.
I had, Mr. Reddy, I had given this particular formula in my launch session of Stock of the Week. I think the easier way, and I'll give you the first the answer and then the rationale. 12 lakhs divided by 25. 12 lakhs divided by 25 should be typically your per call allocation. Now you may ask me why have I done that kind of a calculation? So I'll give you the answer that in a year there will be around 52 odd calls of Stock of the Week. Looking at an average target date of say 4 months to 6 months, half of these calls will close within that particular year. So I am taking an estimate that at the end of 1 year there would be around 20 to 25 calls which will be live. So you can divide 12 lakhs by either 20 or 25. I would say if you want to play safe, divided by 25. If you want to play aggressive, then divided by 20, because the portfolio at the end of the year will look in between 20 and 25 stocks. So, and that applies to all the investors. It's a very nice question that Mr. Reddy has asked, because he's at least asking me that I have a total set of investment and then I want to broad base it across my investments rather than disproportionately buying one stock or not buying the other, and then buying I like this stock or I don't like this stock. Choice bias, please don't do, because that is something that is a huge science that you may get involved in. Just divide it by 20, sir, 12 lakhs or 25, and just allocate per stock.
The next question comes from Pali Mavani. Good evening. None of us, I presume, got the entry price. So would you revise the entry to the lowest after the call?
No, sir, we will not do that. We don't know where the stock is going to enter ourselves. What we can do is that if the stock is moved, then we may up the target price instead of revising the entry price, because it is not that people have not been able to buy it. The stock was not circuit up. So a lot of people had bought that particular stock. Some people got it 4%, 5% expensive. So if we feel that the target price has to be moved up because of that particular impact, we will move up. But it is not just a price movement. See, we personally feel that a story that we find, a fundamental story that we find, has a certain upside potential. Now, one of those two things may not work, which is A, the target price may get hit earlier, right? So time factor may not work, which is it got hit earlier. But if we still feel that the story continues, we may revise the target price, but entry price, there's no point revising.
The next question comes from Dhruvil Bhatt. Dear Mohit sir, I enrolled with MarketsMojo and subscribed for almost 3 decades in advance on your promise to give all future products without any payment. But I tried to see Stock of the Week, but the message says to pay fees. I hope you understand how I feel.
Mr. Bhatt, I completely understand what you're saying. We have over the last 5-7 years done whatever done. We have given it free to our investors. In fact, the whole set of the largest launch that we've done in the history of MarketsMojo was Mojo 1, which we did in last October. where we came out with momentum now stocks, reliable now stocks, and turnaround now stocks. And we made all our Mojo professional users, we upgraded all of them to Mojo One. So we've always stood at our word out there. And there's a lot of additions that we'll keep doing to Mojo One, as you'll see within this year as well. But we had specifically said that stock of the week, if you remember my October webinar, sir, if you don't have it, I'll send you the webinar link as well. But in October itself, when we had launched the concept of stock of the week, we had elucidated that this is a very, very different product and this will be a separate product. It will not be a part of Mojo One. And we said that around 6 months back or maybe more than that. So we are just following what we had committed. Yes, you are absolutely right. We had committed that whatever new that comes within the Mojo One paradigm will be free, and we stay committed to that. Whatever we launch in Mojo One will never be charged to our customers, sir.
The next question comes from Akash. I wrote on WhatsApp, today's stock of the week is up by more than 7%. Please give the stock of the week before market session. It will solve all the problems. On Monday, I didn't buy IFB Industries. I bought it at 1872 in the day it came down. Thank you for your current initiative to address this, sir. Good luck to all the MarketsMojo family.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sahu. Sorry, this is Mr. Akash Sahu. Yeah, Mr. Sahu, thank you so much, sir. Akash Sahu ji, sorry, you had written a mail to me. I am so sorry. I missed your mail. I must congratulate you and thank you for an excellent suggestion. And you have all our gratitude in helping us make this product better. Thank you so much, sir. I'm so glad that you're attending this, and I'm getting a chance of personally thanking you for such an excellent suggestion. Thank you, sir.
The next question comes from Mr. Joel. Sir, I am ready to pay 19,999 now for stock of the week, looking at the performance. I don't want to miss the Monday call. Please guide.
Mr. Joel, we won't be able to do that. As I said, that we are giving you a promise that you will be enrolled. It can be between 7 to 30 days anytime, but we need to resolve this market up episode that is happening. And slowly, the confirmed list also is a select list of very few customers, which will slowly open up from 7 to 30 days to keep gauging the impact on the stock of the week. So currently, the best thing would be to opt for either of the options. Option number 1 is a guaranteed spot. Option number 2 is a waitlisted spot. Please opt on it. I won't be able to confirm this today, sir. We've only given one stock of the week call and we've seen what happened. I need to settle this issue before we enroll more members. But as I said, guaranteed option is guaranteed. It's just a matter of maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks, sir.
The next question comes from Mr. Ganesh. This is regarding multiple login. You mean we will not be able to view MarketsMojo both from laptop and mobile at the same time, or is this only applicable for stock of the week?
Good.
Sometimes I use mobile for webinar and laptop login to check stocks in parallel.
No, Mr. Ganesh, you're absolutely right. This is only applicable for stock of the week, sir. I know that sometimes people log in from their mobile apps and their laptops. That will continue, sir. This is only limited to stock of the week, sir.
This is from Mr. Nagendra Kumar. Dear Mohitji, I could guess the stock of the week while the webinar was going on based on the data that was being presented,
right.
The current market price and market cap sector, before declaring it at the end of the webinar. My order was placed before 9 a.m. and didn't trigger as my price was way below 1,900, settled during pre-market. I therefore suggest you to either make the webinar very brief for 5 to 10 minutes or commence at 9 a.m. alone.
Yeah. I think that's a very good suggestion again. We'll try and make it brief. The reason I don't announce the name first is because people just take the name and run away and put in the price. So we have to tell them that we've analyzed the stock and please look at the fundamentals before you're buying. But I fully agree. I think we'll do 2 things. We will reduce the time to not more than maybe 10 to 12 or 15 minutes at maximum. And we will move towards the opening of the market and then announce in the open market so that you have chance to look at the market, the price, and then place it. And also people who are widely distributing the call are on disadvantage because they will have very less time to react onto this. And I hopefully all my retail investors would have placed their orders by then. But as I said, limit order, please. Limit order, please.
The next question comes from Mr. Nanda Kumar. I have decided to completely switch over to stock of the week by liquidating my presently held Mojo stocks. Is this okay?
Sir, I can't comment on that. Abhi chalu hua hai, Mr. Nanda Kumar. We've just started. We've done 2 calls. Both have gone very well. But I would say that hold on. Let 5, 7, 8 calls come in. Let us also track it. Markets are also volatile right now. Don't take a hasty call because Mojo One is not it's a elephant of a product. It is a great product. So it is something which has created so much wealth for our investors over years now that people thank us that we launched this kind of a product. So please don't underestimate the power of Mojo One. Stock of the week is a separate proposition altogether. Hence, we've kept it separate. A lot of investors don't understand why we've kept stock of the week. Because you can only subscribe for stock of the week also. We kept it separate because it is for investors who don't want to choose. And for deeper set of investors who typically want to look at stocks, also do their own selection, Mojo One product is there. So I would say hold on, let the success come a little more and by large, and then you can take that call if you feel like, sir.
The next question comes from Sumaya Julu. Good initiatives to curb circulation. Genuine subscribers were unable to place orders at the suggested price with small premium.
Thank you, sir.
The next question comes from Mr. Manohar. Hello Mohitji, for internal leakage or front running, why don't you check the volume of day 1 and day 2 prior to those dates?
We do that, sir. We do that. Internal, leakages within the system are something that we've scrubbed every possible thing. See, what used to happen is that, because we work from Monday to Fridays, Saturdays we don't work. We typically will do our IC meetings on a Friday. We'll declare a stock. Then a presentation is made. Obviously, I don't make the presentations. It's made by a set of analysts. Once we select the particular stock, we do market commentary calls. We figure out about the company. All of that takes either on Thursday or Friday a couple of days. So there was a chance of an internal leak. Typically for stock of the week, we are going to work on a Saturday. So we will not decide the name on a Friday. We will decide the name on a Saturday. So there is no chance of internal leakage of that particular stock. And that has got limited to only about 3 or 4 people at maximum, out of which, 3 people are in the promoter or the leadership group. And 1 person is, somebody who makes the presentation. I must also tell you that we've got a very rigid insider trading policy in place where demat accounts have to be disclosed on a frequency which is as suggested by SEBI. And we make sure that, all the disclosures are put in place and it's a fireable offense in MarketsMojo. Absolutely non-negotiable fireable offense. So we do our set of pieces out there and, obviously, leaders, the policy becomes more stricter. At a promoter level, for sake, for me and for Joyson for that matter, we do not invest in any stocks directly. We invest through PMSs. My own full allocation is into our own PMS. Joyson's allocation is into his own, into our Mojo PMS. So we are completely crossing our heart and making sure things are right. But as I said, this is world, leakages happen. We have to continuously make sure that there's an effort to curb them because you cannot always be positive about the intent of people. You have to make sure that you have processes that can filter that out, sir.
The next question comes from Mr. Vipin. People can still take screenshots and forward it. Would suggest to put a watermark as well. I work in cybersecurity and would be happy to help.
Okay, sir. Vipinji, please write me a mail. If that is something that we can do, I will anyways pass the idea to my tech team. But if there's anything that we can do out here, it will be great help. One of the reasons that we didn't start a research report on stock of the week was precisely this, that people will forward the whole report itself. But if we can have a watermark phenomena out there, then I think that would be great. I will also put this up to my team, but if you have a specific solution, I'm most happy to hear that, sir.
The next question comes from Hemant. Mohit sir, good to see you with this very important update. I have subscribed at 9,999 and would want to extend. Will I get it for 14,999 or should I pay 19,999?
Sir, if you have subscribed at 9,999, congratulations. But if you want now further to extend your subscription, I would say the best way to do that is 19,999 because that's where you are at least confirming a space. 14,999 is a waitlisted space, may or may not open. So my suggestion would be to go in with the 19,999 officer.
The next question comes from Anshul Jain. GPT Healthcare touched 200 plus on 31st July. Was it because the webinar had many non-members?
GPT Healthcare, no. GPT Healthcare was a glimpse that we were giving to all our Mojo members. So I don't think so. We can assess the movement of GPT Healthcare because the concrete only stock of the week webinar was IFP, which was August 1 when our agreement with you started. But GPT we had opened up for all our members, even if they were not members of stock of the week. We wanted to tell them how the stock can look like, how the presentation can look like, what the story can look like. So it was a sneak preview where we had not just invited stock of the week members, but all Mojo One members were also invited. We started only stock of the week members from 1st of August, which was IFP call. So that's where the tracking of how many people who were outsiders they got in. And surprisingly, if 53, 54% were outsiders, clearly, that call is bound to go out of proportion because you're talking about people getting an excess. And, it is I'm very angry at this. It's very irritating because, we take the effort to make such products. You take the effort to subscribe to those products. And I think, people at large, which is, I don't know what to call it, but I'm really angry at this, that they for their own personal benefits do these things. Always happens in this world. But I think, sooner or later, you will see what kind of action we take. We are taking, every day we are thinking of tech solutions to this. And I think we are tightening it. And I know some of you guys are so concerned because you guys also give us suggestions. And we take those suggestions. And most of the suggestions that we are today implementing are ideas that some ideas have come from your side, from our tech team side, from the leadership team side. But I think if we are not going to completely curb it, I can guarantee you that I'll make their life so difficult that sooner or later they'll look somewhere else,
sir. The next question comes from Mrs. Link. The stock of the week can cause health issues, increase blood pressure on Monday mornings as thousands of people rush to buy.
Sir, I don't know what to say for that. But itna health issue karne ki kya zarurat hai? Fundamental call hai, sir, trading call nahi hai. So even if what will happen? You either get that stock, you don't get that stock. And I think there is ample choices that will be there because every week to come out with a stock of the week, if you don't like a stock, you don't want to buy a stock, if it is open gapped up, I think we need to take life a little more easier than that. But please don't let it become a health issue. Please relax. Ultimately, health is more important than wealth.
Okay. The next question comes from Mr. Madhusudan. We didn't get the stock of the week for this week. What's the update on that?
Sir, Madhusudan ji, the stock of the week was supposed to, the first stock of the week happened on 1st of August. 1st of August was not a Monday, as you know. And we had said that we are launching it because it was 1st of August. We wanted to do a symbolic launch on 1st of August. I think it was a Thursday or a Friday, something like that. And then we said that because that week we have already covered, the next one will be on 11th of August. So we had clearly mentioned that the first stock of the week will be on 1st of August, then will be on 11th of August, then will be every Monday from there onwards. Because the first stock of the week we didn't announce on Monday, we announced before that, which was on 1st of August. So we are going live with the next stock of the week on Monday morning, sir, which is 11th of August. Please check the time this time, what time we are doing the webinar so that you don't come and wait. I'm going to make it very crisp and short, and I'm going to go right inside the market opening and then announce the name.
The next question is a follow-up to the previous question regarding the watermark. It's from Mr. Joseph. Adding on to the suggestion to include watermark, I suggest it to be respective investors' mobile number and email. This way, one person intending to share will hesitate to share this information, and MarketsMojo can catch the person who's sharing it eventually.
That's a good point as well, Mr. Joseph. That's a good point as well. So I will take this up also with my tech team. Kevin, these 2 points, let's take it to the tech team and see how we can implement these two. Excellent point again.
The next question comes from Mr. Saravanan. I have subscribed to 9,999. Should I pay again for the new plans?
Sir, if you want to extend it because the way that this is looking like, I think sooner or later we are going to close down, stock of the week subscriptions forever. It may only get revived when 5 people don't renew, then, it comes in with that matter. So the call is yours, but I don't think so. I personally feel at 19,999 for 2 years also this product is a steal. This product is one of the cheapest products that we have. But I will leave the call to you, sir.
The next question comes from Mr. Jayant. Dear Mohitji, just wanted to tell you that I'm very happy with as a MarketsMojo customer. I've made good profits, learned lots from your webinar. Thanks a lot. I've said it many times that your product pays for themselves and handsomely. And I appreciate the price increases. Your subscriptions are an investment and not a cost. People should pay for value. Only I suggest that you release the stock of the week at the time of market opening.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your compliment, Jayanji. I know that I remember your name. You have said this before as well. I pay a lot of gratitude to your best wishes, and I also am very delighted that investors, we are fulfilling our objective of investors making wealth from MarketsMojo. Thank you so much, and I am going to take that suggestion of yours, and we will implement it on 11th of August itself, sir.
We have one final question from Mr. Ashwin. Can the stock of the week announcement time be changed after market opening? It will prevent the price spike for members who may be operators or investment advisors. Both GPT Health and IFB opened with upper circuit.
Yeah, that also may have happened because pre-market people may have put market price orders, sir. But Ashwinji, I think what you're saying is right. Maybe we can try this out. It's a good suggestion. Kevin, please note down this. Maybe we can, one stock of the week, do it at 11 o'clock, for example, and try and see what is the impact of that. So we'll have to try these permutations, combinations. So it's a good suggestion. The only thing that happens is that there's a little bit of a disadvantage that people on the webinar, some of the investors, because at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, people are in their offices. So some people may miss that webinar, and then the other investors of stock of the week may not, who miss the webinars may not get that call on time. But we'll have to find out immediate WhatsApp solution, or which we anyways do. But we'll have to just figure it out once. We will definitely give it a try, Mr. Ashwin. We are taking as many efforts as possible. As you can see, I'm personally coming here to handhold stock of the week investors and our philosophy for the first few weeks. I'm sure we'll settle this. Be with us. Stay patient. You've seen the result. The result is good, and I think we'll continue doing a good job out there. Markets are volatile, so please don't get too excited and start putting disproportionate money. Please understand that the markets have a downward risk inbuilt in them today. So be very careful. Even when you're investing with stock of the week, there is a bigger opportunity, I would say, chance that the markets may not stay where they are staying today. So we have to be very sensible in our approach. Don't do disproportionate allocations. Go very smoothly, go very silently. And also, if you feel that there is a drawdown, please stay patient because we are monitoring this. But, currently, I said that, as I said the other day, I was talking yesterday as well, it's not the time to be greedy. It's time to be a little fearful. And it's only going to help being a little conservative today, rather than going completely on greedy and say that IFB to opened up so much, so I should buy the next stock and it will also open up. वो नहीं होगा. And if it doesn't happen, then I don't want you to get disappointed. I'm giving you my market warning that we personally feel that markets are overpriced, and be very careful when you invest. Do not take a greedy call. You want to consult an investment advisor, please go ahead and consult it. Please know your own risk profile before investing. These are very important. These are not just disclaimers, but very important investment philosophy. To closing remarks is that I know a lot of you investors have missed out. We are giving a confirmed waitlist option. We are not opening the stock of the week subscription right now. We are giving option 1 where you have a guarantee that we'll onboard you in 7 to 30 odd days at 19,999 for 2 years. And if you want to be a part of a general wait list, which may or may not open, and the timeline can be anywhere between 2 to 4 months, then you can put your name in the general wait list as well at 14,999 for 2 years. This is applicable for Mojo One investors. This is also applicable for investors who already bought stock of the week and who want to extend, very well knowing the fact that at some day we will close down the subscription for stock of the week for maybe a longer period of time. With that note, thank you, good night, have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday morning, and let's see what happens. Thank you.